Well, hi again, everybody. I'm Brendan Gulick, and welcome back to Guardians on Deck, our daily show telling you all that's going on with Cleveland Guardians baseball, including a recap of the previous day's game. Hope you're enjoying our coverage here at the beginning of the season. Sure has been fun to watch this team the last couple days, hasn't it? An unbelievable offensive stretch. 3 games in a row now. The Guardians have just pounded the ball all over the place. Quite a drastic turn after scoring 1 run over their first 19 innings. I'm not sure anybody really expected the kind of turnaround we've seen here now the last 3 consecutive games. Let's take a look at the box score from yesterday. How about 37 runs on 45 base hits now over these last 3 games, thanks to a big 9th inning yesterday, 6 runs in that 9th, a 2-run homer from Andres Jimenez to break a 4-4 tie, and then punctuated by Jose Ramirez hitting a grand slam to right field. And that was more than enough cushion for the Guardians, who gave up a run in the bottom of the 9th inning, but still comfortably won 10-5. Steven Kwan continued an incredible stretch. We're going to tell you a little bit more about him here in just a moment. Shane Bieber made his second start of the season, looked really good through his first 5 1/3 innings, didn't allow a hit. And then I would argue maybe a couple of tough luck doubles, even though they were both technically hit well. One of them I really thought was a ball that had some funky spin on it that I really thought was going to go foul, and took a sort of a weird hop when it was bounced in front of home plate and shot down the third base line in fair territory. And Bieber ended up giving up a couple of runs. He was charged with an additional run after he came out of the ball game. And then, of course, because the game ended up being tied at 4, no decision for Bieber. But still another good performance for him. We'll dive more into his numbers here in just a moment. How about the note on the runners in scoring position? 19 for 45. The Guardians are at the plate with runners in scoring position during a 3-game win streak where they have hit the ball all over the place. Is it fool's gold? I don't know. It's too early in the season. It's too small of a sample size. And on one hand, we're talking about Kansas City and Cincinnati, a couple of teams that are not expected to be particularly good. But my gosh, we should certainly enjoy this while we have it. In the meantime, let's hear from Terry Francona, who spoke after yesterday's game.
You know, we talked so much about Kwan's at-bats, but probably unfair because everybody there seems to be a game plan right now, and it seems like it's wearing pitchers out. Just what are your thoughts?
Well, again, it's early, but I would rather have you asking that question than, the opposite. I mean, especially for a young group, they're fighting, man, and they're making contact. They're fouling balls off. Owen Miller has been really, really, the kind of the kid we were kind of hoping to see. Kwan's at bat before Hosey was as good as you're going to get. Oscar getting the guy over. I don't want that to get lost in the shuffle, because sometimes you play the game right and little things turn into big things.
What do you say about him and that? Just the swings he's had the last couple of
Boy, he hit the heck out of that ball, man. I thought they hit in the first. I thought that was a hit early, and maybe they'll change it. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, he took some pretty good swings today.
Is that just a thing of him being more comfortable this year? What have you been able to do?
I hope so. I mean, that's the idea is, as guys understand what's expected of them and they know people, you certainly hope they are. And if they have the talent, that starts to show.
I think it beeps.
I thought it was a shame that he ended up, giving up, 3, because he was so good. And then I thought this last inning, he was getting up towards 80. And one slider backed up. He had a walk. Thought it was time to get him out, but I didn't see Nate doing that on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Nice piece of hitting.
Your bullpen, other than that for Ghost, Nicky Castro looked like he got through.
He did a good job. Threw a good change up to end the inning. He threw a couple good breaking balls. Trevor Stephan is added that split, and it's given him something, especially against left-handers, but he's thrown it against righties too. And then, when Hosey hits the ball like that, we're able to spread it out where we don't have to go to Class A.
What Kwan's been able to do at the plate, to see him make a play like that in the outfield defensively there and double the guy, for instance.
I mean, I think he's going to be solid everywhere. I mean, that's, I know he dropped the ball the other day trying to be too quick, but he's going to be a solid player. He's going to make the plays he's supposed to.
you're gonna do with that award you got before the game.
I actually added, do you see it?
No.
It's in the coach's room. Go look. You will appreciate it.
Okay. On that note,
Put a
thank
little
you.
personal touch to it. Go check it out. It's in the coach's room. Go log it.
I wish I could have seen what that personal touch must have been, but Terry Francona is clearly enjoying being back in the dugout, and boy, the Guardians are happy to have him back here in 2022. And the team's playing really well. He's got a lot of reasons to smile recently. Young guys that are playing hard, and it's a lot easier when you put a lineup together and guys make you look really good because they're out there hitting the ball the way that this team is during this extremely hot stretch here early in the season. But a couple of ninth inning home runs, the difference in yesterday's ball game. Stephen Kwan continues to be the talk of Major League Baseball for several reasons. And if for some reason you haven't seen these other numbers along the way already, they have been popularized nationally quite a bit. But Stephen Kwan has gone 76 plate appearances since last striking out last September in AAA, and that includes his plate appearances in the Cactus League in spring training and so far here in the beginning of the season. No swings and misses through his first 115 pitches. I think you might argue that twice he got the benefit of a doubt on a check swing. Once the check swing was held up, and then yesterday the controversial one where he definitely went around and theoretically swung and missed. The umpire said that it was a called strike. It didn't matter that he had potentially swung and missed at the pitch. So for one more day, the semantics around the fun of Stephen Kwan not swinging and missing for 115 pitches is certainly enjoyable. And beyond that, he has reached base 18 times in his first 5 professional games as a major league player. Obviously, he's been a pro in the minor leagues, but 18 times in his first 5 big league games. That is the most in the history of Major League Baseball, a game that's been played for well over a century. It broke Jay Bruce's record when he actually did it for Cincinnati back in 2008. He reached base 17 times in that stretch. He's also got a 750 on base percentage at the start of the year. That is a record for the most times on base, 18 of his first 24 plate appearances for a player's first 5 games since at least 1901, which goes back certainly into the dead ball era. The live ball era of baseball is now about 100 years old, going back to 1920. It's absolutely remarkable what this kid's doing. Records are meant to be broken. Somebody somewhere along the way may have another stretch like this. Who knows? But God, it's sure fun to watch him playing well, having fun. Gosh, Cleveland really needs a corner outfielder to get going here at the beginning of the season. And Stephen Kwan has had a bunch of fun doing that. So glad to see that he is playing well. And I have to think that he's going to stay in the lineup as long as he continues to play like that for sure. Jose Ramirez, a lot of talk leading up to the season about Jose because he gets the reported contract extension, 5 years, $125 million. It was pending a physical and still has not been announced by the team. No reason to think that, it's falling apart or that he didn't pass a physical. Wouldn't surprise me if they're just kind of waiting until the team comes back home to officially sign that, lock that up, and maybe conduct the physical in Cleveland, or if it's already done to just kind of have the news official once he is in town and have a press conference then. Whatever the case is, there's no reason to think that deal isn't official, and there's no reason for anybody to worry about that. And boy, it certainly looks like Jose continues to play baseball the same way we've come to know and love from him. He is leading Major League Baseball in RBIs so far this year. Certainly a grand slam will help his cause there, but 11 RBIs for Ramirez during his first 5 games of this season. Continues to play well, and glad to see that. In fact, he and Oscar Mercado, this was kind of fun. I noticed this graphic on the TV broadcast when Mercado hit the grand slam and a triple in the same game. There are only a few guys in the history of Cleveland's baseball franchise to ever do that, and there's some really notable names in franchise history on this list. Mercado obviously did it a couple of days ago in Kansas City, grand slam and triple in the same game. Robbie Alomar in 1999. Kenny Lofton did it in 93. Walt Bond in 1961, Luke Easter 1951, the great Al Rosen did it in 1950, Larry Doby also did it in 1950, Pat Seary in 1945, Ken Keltner in 1940, and the first one to ever do it in Cleveland was Shoeless Joe Jackson back in 1911. You might have caught that. Doby and Rosen both did it in 1950. The only time it's ever happened twice in the same season. Well, Oscar Mercado did it a couple days ago, and now Jose Ramirez yesterday hits both a grand slam and a triple. And for the second time in club history, two guys in the same season have hit a grand slam and a triple in the same game, and it happened to be just a couple games apart. Pretty cool. So Jose Ramirez off to certainly a good start here again this season. You know, I've been reading a few things on social media, which is always the best source for information. I've been reading a few people that are maybe a little concerned about Shane Bieber's advanced metrics, and I think it's at least worth talking about while recognizing that Bieber has received a no decision in both games. You know, certainly pitched well. I thought he looked really good in Kansas City. A tough luck, probably what should have been an error, instead ruled a double on that, you know, the drop fly ball in left field by Rosario on opening day. That's kind of the thing that stood out to me most there in a day where Bieber was obviously on a pitch count. And then look, yesterday, I mean, you can't argue with a guy who gets outs, and he certainly was effective. But it is fair to at least point out that the metrics are maybe not quite what we're used to seeing from Shane. And I'll share some of those numbers with you, but I just don't think it's cause for concern yet. It's early in the year. The guys had such an abbreviated spring training. I still want to see Bieber building up. And by the way, while he's throwing zeros up on the scoreboard, if his fastball velocity is not quite there, if you know the revolutions on his breaking ball aren't quite where it usually is, I'm just not going to get that worried about it until it becomes a problem, considering that he's still building up to the start of the season. But it is fair to point out that so far, his fastball velocity is below league average and significantly, less than what we're used to seeing from him. His average fastball velocity through two starts is 91 miles an hour, and that is the 42nd percentile across Major League Baseball. League average is a couple miles an hour faster than that. But his slider velocity is a little bit above league average. His curveball velocity is significantly above league average. His cutter and changeup, he just hasn't thrown very many times to really get a good feel for it. But the promising sign, you know, he's missing barrels repeatedly. He's been very good in terms of hard hit percentage, expected batting average against him. He is in the upper quartile in Major League Baseball so far. Swing and miss rate is very good. His chase rate is a little better than league average. And average exit velocity is 63rd percentile, which is fine. So again, early in the year, for a guy that's coming off of an injury, I can understand why there might be a little concern about, you know, is his fastball where it should be? Remember how cold and windy it was on that opening day when he pitched in KC. And start number two, he didn't allow a hit through 5 1/3 innings. I know he took a no decision, but I'm just not that concerned. So I would urge you to not worry too much yet about Shane Bieber, but fair to at least point out the fact that maybe those stats are a little bit down from where they've been in years past. The only other thing I wanted to touch on today is Josh Naylor's potential return. It sounds like the plan right now is to basically have Naylor playing minor league ball here through the end of what would be the team's, you know, road trip here in Cincinnati. As we record this, the game is about to get rolling in Cincinnati. An off day tomorrow. The idea he's going to play a little outfield, little first base in Columbus, just to continue to make sure he's been involved in as many game situations as possible. You know, I don't know if they're going to make a corresponding move and add him to the roster in time for Friday, or if he's going to just come to Cleveland and maybe not be inserted in the lineup right away. Hard to know for sure, but it sounds like Josh Naylor's return to Cleveland is imminent, unless there is an unexpected setback here in the next couple days. On one hand, you want to sit there and say, well, gee, don't mess with a good thing. The team has scored 37 runs and had 45 base hits over a stretch of just 3 games. But Naylor has a place on this team, I think, if he is healthy and playing well. And so you need to bring him back. What corresponding move could be made? Right now, Owen Miller is playing really well offensively to the point that Bobby Bradley isn't seeing a lot of time at first base. Bradley doesn't have any options left, so I don't think you're going to see Bobby Bradley on the wrong side of that equation yet. I think the team still wants to see what they have from him, but I know it hasn't been a good run from him lately. This logjam of middle infielders that the team had been dealing with. Jimenez had a big game, essentially game-winning home run yesterday. Ernie Clement has played great baseball. Owen Miller is proving to be versatile and playing well. I think I'm just kind of working backwards down the pecking order and wondering if maybe Yu Chang could be the odd man out. We'll have to see. When the team traded Bradley Zimmer and got a pitcher back in Castro, they broke camp with 14 pitchers and 14 position players. Currently on the roster, it's 15 pitchers and 13 position players. Austin Hedges is playing pretty much every day, and once in a while, Lavastida is going to be the guy to back him up. No update yet on Luke Maley. Last we heard, things were continuing to move in the right direction, but you're not going to get rid of your only, backup catcher just to add Naylor to the roster. So Lava is safe, I think, at least for the short term. So you just wonder, those tough conversations, do they choose to send a pitcher back down? Or are they going to, have to make a decision on one of the position players? I'm not sure. If I had to take a guess, totally a guess, I would think based on who's playing well right now, that there is potential Yu Chang could be the odd man out here. But that's purely speculation on my point, and we'll see what happens. I want Naylor back in the lineup. I think when he is playing well, I have watched him play for a long time. I was in minor league ball the same time he was, and have seen him play dozens and dozens of games at different levels. And I love his raw power. I love his tools. I know he hasn't had a great run at the major league level quite yet, but I think given what he can do for you, I think you got to give it a shot. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully, especially just coming off that injury, excited about the possibility of him being back in Cleveland soon, and we'll see what the team decides to do. As always, you can follow us social media, CBI on SI, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll keep you updated during the game today along the way. Tomorrow is an off day, and then, of course, Friday, the home opener. We'll have plenty of coverage for you on the website, clevelandbaseballinsider.com. And please, if you would, we'd really appreciate the support since this is still a fairly new YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the channel if you don't mind, and let us know that you like the content along the way or what you'd like to see differently. Certainly open to some suggestions as well. I'm Brendan Gulick. We'll see you soon. Guardians and Reds wrap up the season opening road trip this afternoon. Follow it along, Cleveland Baseball Insider.